Well, look, good evening, everybody. My name's Emma Young. I'm very proud to be the principal, and it's lovely to see so many of you here coming tonight to look at Godalming College. I hope you have had an okay journey. I appreciate it's not always that easy coming up to the top of the hill and then finding a parking space, so thank you very much for your tolerance in that respect. And look, I'm going to spend about 15 to 20 minutes just talking through you about why Godalming College is the best provider of post-16 education in the area. So I'll make no bones for the fact that this is a very biased talk. And I've tried to summarise it in 10 key points. But before I go through those, I will say that you are really lucky in this part of the country with choice. So some of the students in the room this evening will have a school sixth form that they can stay on at. But if you don't have that, there's lots of providers like us that specialise in 16 to 18 education. And then there are other FE colleges who specialise in providing courses for students from 14 through to 90. And I think the thing I would say to you is making sure that you do your research, coming along to as many open evenings as possible to find the place that feels right for you. And obviously that's going to be Godalming College once you've finished your visit this evening. So, as I said, I'm going to try and summarise why Godalming in 10 points for you. So the first one is, you won't be surprised to see the results. We're really, really proud of the outcomes we achieve with our students. Year on year, we exceed national benchmarks at A-level for pass rate and for high grades, and similarly for BTECs. We've got the headline results on the slides there for A-level. In terms of the national benchmarks are there. We don't have those yet for BTECs, but if you want to drill down and look at the results for each of the individual subjects we offer, they're available on the website. We do have a QR code that you can scan and get that instantly on your phone this evening, and the results from the prior 2 years are also available for you to look at as well. But the other thing I think to note about our results is we achieve this with students based on relatively comprehensive entry requirements. So the minimum that students need to achieve to access a level 3 programme, whether that be A-level or BTEC, is 5 grades at 9 to 4 for GCSE. But I would stress that is the minimum, so the higher grades you can get across the GCSEs you're studying, the best if you like, foundations for level 3 that provides. So try and get as higher grades as possible. And then the other thing to note is that individual subjects have certain GCSEs that you need to achieve at certain grades. So that's part of this tonight, doing that research to make sure you understand that. And then the other thing I just wanted to say about results is it's important when you're looking at providers that you look at not just the raw results, but you also look at the value added. And that is looking at how well a school or college does with its students based on their prior attainment. And if value added is positive, that means on average that school or college helps students to achieve above what you would expect them to achieve based on their prior attainment. And we are positive for value added. And we subscribe to a couple of measures internally to constantly assess our performance. So we subscribe to something called ALPS. We're in the top 10% of all providers that subscribe to that methodology. And then we also subscribe to the 6 Dimensions methodology, which looks at all providers like us. And we are number 7 in the country on that measure as well. So we're really proud of the results that we achieve with our students year on year. And you might say, well, she would say that stood up there as the principal of the college because she's very biased. Well, we have had Ofsted. They last delightfully came to visit us in December 2019. They are due imminently, so I'm now a bit twitchy every time the phone goes. We know we're going to have another inspection this year, but if you want to look at our last Ofsted inspection, that's available for you on the website as well. I think the third point is a really, really important point. The engine room behind the success of our college are our staff, both teaching and support staff, and I hope you get to meet as many of those tonight when you're going around to the departments. And I think it's twofold as far as teaching is concerned. One is that our teachers are obviously specialists in their subjects with the degrees that they've studied, but also they're specialists in this age group. So we only work with 16 to 18-year-olds, and our teachers specialise in the delivery of the A-level and the BTEC courses that they're teaching. We don't have to worry about the Year 9 curriculum, the Year 7 curriculum. We just specialise in this age group and in the specifications that we deliver. And we work together in partnership with the students to hopefully achieve the best possible outcomes for them. And then number 4 is around our facilities. And it's just about getting dark now, so I appreciate you might not be able to visit everything this evening, and I will show you a little short video as part of this presentation in a few moments. But we're really proud of the campus that we have for students and the facilities that we have on offer. We put a lot of time and money and investment to make sure that they're fit for purpose. So we've got a green room over in our media and film suite. We've got a bespoke performing arts department that's also got music practice rooms. We've got a dance studio, a sports block with a gym that any student can use. They don't have to be studying PE or sport. And then we've got our independent learning centre, which I would urge you to go and visit because that's really like the hub of the college. It's there for students when they're not in lessons. They can access book-based and electronic resources. There's a silent study area. There's computers that they can use. There's group study areas as well. And we have a fantastic team of librarians to signpost those resources and help students navigate those as well. So I'll go and visit that area. There is some staff there on hand to answer any questions you've got about the college and our provision. And then the other thing I just need to say, because students always remind me to mention this when I'm doing my talk, is facilities as far as food is concerned, because I appreciate that food might be a very important factor in choice. So just to flag that we have both a Costa Coffee and a Starbucks outlet at the college. And Starbucks is open tonight, so if you want a coffee, you can go and get a coffee. And we have Phil, who's our catering manager, and he's on hand. I'm kind of tentatively saying this because I hope there's some left, but there are meant to be some tasters of the hot food provision that we have available for students. And we have our catering in-house, so they're part of our team. We don't contract that out, and that means we can respond to student demand and also, importantly, keep price reasonable as well. And then point number 5 is our unique enrichment offer. And this is something that we've really developed and evolved over the last few years for students, particularly as when the last reforms of curriculum that came back in 2015-16 meant the norm for 16-year-olds was to study 3 courses. We thought, well, how can we help our students stand out from the crowd when they're applying for that next step, whatever that may be? So we've developed our enrichment programme, and as a result, we expect all students to do some form of enrichment in their first year and then in their second year. And in the first year, we kind of package it up to help students navigate it. There's really 2 options. There's the Plus Active pathway and the Plus Explore pathway. The Plus Active pathway is the sort of enrichment that students will probably be very familiar with at school. Things like sport, music, drama, Duke of Edinburgh. So if students want to carry that on or indeed start to get involved in any of that, they can do. If you're thinking, no, I don't want to get involved in any of that, we have our Plus Explore programme. And these are short courses. They last for 8 weeks, and students can do 1 or 2 of them in their first year. And then there's a whole range of courses to choose from. And again, we've tried to tailor that to develop students' interests in things that are distinct from their core courses, explore career options, or just try something completely different. So there's things like debating society, we've got forensics, dissection club, learning how to podcast, magazine production, and so on and so forth. And the beauty of them as well is they're not assessed. There's no pressure of examinations. But again, it gives something to students to reflect on when they're making their applications for their next step. In the second year, again, we expect students to carry on with some form of enrichment, and by far the most popular option in the second year is the extended project qualification, and that's where students get to choose a research topic, and that can be linked to 1 or more of their courses or an outside area of interest, and then they research and write that up into a 5,000-word report or produce an artefact, and they have to present their findings as well. And that develops the skills of the dissertation type assessment that students will have if they did progress on to higher education, for example. So that's a kind of very whistle-stop tour through our enrichment programme. If you want to find out more about that, there's plenty more details on the website, and also staff over in the ILC to answer any questions you may have on enrichment. And then point number 6 is the strong emphasis that we place here at college around learning. So obviously helping the students to learn what they need to learn as far as the content of their courses is concerned, so that they're best placed to get the best grades possible. But also we put a lot of emphasis on helping students with the process of learning, reflecting on learning. How are they organising their learning? How are they responding to the feedback that they're getting for homeworks to then improve that next piece of work? And managing their learning and their time as well is really important. But not just students, there's a strong emphasis on us as staff to continually to learn, reflect and develop. So we regularly run teaching and learning workshops whereby teachers are experimenting with the latest pedagogy to make sure that we're tapping into that latest research and using that in the classroom. And then for all staff, it's just that constant reflection and thinking about how to improve and develop. And I think the moment that I think I know all the answers to every element of my job is the point that I need to leave, because I don't think that's healthy. I think that desire and wanting to learn is really, really important. And then point number 7 is about our community. And as I said, hope you get to meet as many of our staff and students as possible tonight. And that emphasis on a caring, supportive community. So all students have a personal tutor as part of their provision here at the college. And that tutor will help them, first of all, settle into college, and then right through to supporting them with their progression plan. So I've got a second year tutor group this year, so very much at the moment I'm reading lots of personal statements and supporting students with their applications as they're deciding what they want to do post-Godalming. But alongside that tutor, there we have support officers. We've got a health and wellbeing manager who's a qualified mental health nurse, supported by a wellbeing practitioner, counsellors should students need that. And then we've got our learning support team for students who've got SEN, or indeed any student that wants to go and get help, say, with note-taking or essay writing. So that's that whole wraparound support for the students during their 2 years with us. And then the final part of support for students that I wanted to flag was around careers. I've mentioned that a few times already in my talk, but students will say to me, I didn't realise how quickly the 2 years goes, and it is pretty soon into the first year that we're already talking about progression. And our careers team put together a programme to help students work out what are the options that are available for them post-Godalming. And any student can have a careers interview at any time to help them with those plans, as well as their tutor helping them. And then there is specialist support, which we call our Aspire programme, for students who are applying to, say, Oxbridge, or for medicine, veterinary, dentistry. And then we've got specialist support for students wanting to do Art Foundation, or music conservatoires and drama schools. So that's specialist support for careers progression, again, is very much a USP of the college. And then just to flag this data that you can see on the screen as well around progression, I'm particularly proud of this data because we get this from the Higher Education Statistics Agency, and it tells us how well former Godalming College students do when they graduate. And this data is from graduates of 2022. We were expecting the 2023 data back in April. We still haven't had it yet, so apologies, we haven't got yet the data to share with you on 2023 graduates, but you'll get my point here that Godalming College students who graduated in 2022, 90.1% of them achieved a first or a 2-1, which are the 2 highest degree classifications that you can get. And you can see we beat the sector averages across the education landscape there. And for me, that is proof that the support and the experience that students have here at Godalming College helps them to be very successful when they progress on to higher education, if that is indeed what they want to do. So before I raise my final 2 points, I'm just going to show you a little video, because now it is dark, just to give you a sense of the college. And this was filmed by a former Godalming College student, Luke, because we like to keep in touch with our alumni, and they then come back to talk to our current students about what they're currently doing. hope that gives you a sense of the facilities that we have on offer for our students here at Godalming. And so finally, last 2 points, number 9 is the wide range of courses. So we've got kind of over 35 different courses for students to choose from. And obviously that's part of tonight, kind of narrowing that down from, say, 10 GCSEs down to the 3 courses. We appreciate that's difficult, but going out and speaking to the departments and getting a sense perhaps of the courses that you're interested, that you're currently studying at school, but also looking at other subjects that you haven't had access to and unpicking what they involve in terms of content and assessment is a really important part. And I think the other thing to mention is that we can put together pretty much any combination of subjects for students. We're not constrained by particular blocks and you can only pick one subject from a block. We've got a very clever computer algorithm that can pretty much make any combination work, so we can really make it tailored to the individual interests and abilities of each student. And then finally, I always like to end on this one as far as a stepping stone from school. And look, I'm not going to bore you with my career history, but I did do my PGCE in a secondary school, but there was an opportunity to do an additional bit of practice in a sixth form college, and I loved working there, and I just thought, wow, this is the best environment for students aged 16 to 18. And as a result, I've been lucky enough to spend my entire career, and it's getting on for 30 years, in sixth form colleges. So I started at Farnborough, then went to Esher, and then I was proud to be appointed as principal here in 2016. And that's because I passionately believe, as I said, this is the best environment. It's a fresh start in a more adult environment, and what it helps students to do is then be more confident when they have to make a change at 18 and have that skill set for that next step, whether that be higher education, apprenticeship or employment. And I think that's one of the biggest selling points of coming to a college like Godalming, and obviously the best one of those colleges is Godalming, just in case you hadn't quite picked that up. So look, that's the top 10 reasons why I think you should consider Godalming. Just a little word about the next steps. Our applications for 2025 are open now. Please make sure you apply online if you want to come along, and I would urge you to get your application in as soon as possible. You can see the deadline on the screen there of the 11th of November at midday. We were oversubscribed last year, so if you want to just find out about our oversubscription procedure, should we have to enact that, that's on the admissions policy, which again is available on our website. Again, staff are on hand to answer any questions you have on that. Students make an application and that's processed, then they'll be invited to what's called a course advice session, and that's where we'll help students with their subject choices, and then we leave students alone to get on with their GCSEs, and then they're invited in for a taster day, and our taster days are on the 10th and the 11th of July, and that's an opportunity to go to tasters in the subjects and then also refine those choices at the end of the day as well. So you don't have to worry that you've got to get your subject choices exactly right on your application form, or indeed at the course advice. There's plenty of time to kind of talk and reflect on that. So finally from me, just thank you very much for your interest in the college. I hope you enjoy your visit here, and for the students in the room, good luck with your GCSEs as well. And thank you again for coming. Thank you.